Hey, this is Mr. Reeves back with you again. Today we are looking at order of operations. And specifically on the screen, I have a worksheet that I assigned to you. Punchline Bridge to Algebra, page 11. What kind of TV show is relaxing to watch? Well, I'm going to let you find that answer on your own. But I will go ahead and help you find the answers to some of these other questions that you were assigned. Okay, so let me first go ahead and do a quick review here of order of operations. Okay, so again, order of operations means just that. It is the order that you do operations, okay? The order that you do the operations. Operations are what we do to math: add, subtract, multiply, divide, exponents, radicals, etc. Order obviously tells us first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and so on, okay? So I'm going to put a P, and then I'm going to put an E, and then I'm going to put an M, and I'm going to put a D, and then I'm going to put an A, and then I'm going to put an S, all right? And this is the way we usually describe order of operations. All right, the P's tells us to do what is inside the parentheses first, okay? Parentheses. By the way, if there's more than one, it's an E on the end. If there's only one, it's an I, but they usually come in pairs, right? Parentheses. Do what's inside the parentheses first. People often say, do the parentheses first. You don't do the parentheses. The parentheses are not operations, okay? The parentheses simply are grouping symbols, all right? And then E, next. Do exponents. All right, do the exponents. So actually you're doing exponents first. If they were inside the parentheses, you follow order of operations, by the way. So you do exponents and then do the M, of course, stands for multiplication. So we're going to do any multiplication. All right, and division. That's what the D stands for. All right. But this is important. You do those from left to right. And this is where there's some confusion. And this is why some teachers don't like using the word PEMDAS, because it could be DM instead of MA. And the same thing goes with, it could be MD or DM. And this could be AS or SA. I often tell my students it could just as easily have been PEDMASA, but PEDMASA does not roll off the tongue as easily as PEMDAS. All right. So you do multiplication and division from left to right. So if the division comes first, you do it before the multiplication and vice versa. And then finally at the end, you do addition and subtraction. And again, though, these two from left to right. Okay. All right. So one example, just I give my students many times to help them think about this. Back in the days of monarchies, when you had kings and queens and princesses and princesses and princes and knights and all that kind of stuff going on, right? There was a very important emphasis on rank. All right. So I often say the parentheses, that's like the king. The king always gets what he wants. He's first, okay? Next in line, if the king dies or gets killed, next in line is the queen, all right? So then you have the queen. And then next in line, you have the princes, okay? Right? So king, queen, princes. But which prince gets to rule? If the king is gone and the queen is gone, which prince gets to rule? The one that comes first, right? So from left to right. So it's these guys are equals. Princes are equals, sort of. But actually the first prince, right? he is higher than the second prince. So multiplication and division from left to right. And sorry, I know it's not very popular, but down at the bottom in the ranking, you have to kill the king, the queen, and all the princes, or maybe they never existed because there was only girls born, before you get to the princesses. And then which princess gets to become the queen? Again, the one that came first. Okay, so PEMDAS, order of operations. There's our quick review. So now we're going to dive in and do some of these problems. Okay, so when I get to this first problem, 10 plus 6 divided by 2. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and just rewrite that over here real quick. PEMDAS. Okay, and then I'm going to group these and group these because they go together. All right. So if I look here, I have addition, which is here, and division, which is here. Well, what comes first? Division comes first, right? So I'm going to go 6 divided by 2 is 3. And then I'm going to go 10 plus 3 is 13. All right. So 1A would be R. So I would choose R for that one. All right. Now this time that 10 plus 6 is in parentheses. So even though division is supposed to come before addition, the fact that we have parentheses says I'm going to do this first. So this time I'm going to get 16 divided by 2, and that's going to give me 8. And so this one's going to be N. All right, again, I have subtraction and multiplication. If I come over here, subtraction is way down here, okay? Multiplication comes before it. So I'm going to do 3 times 4 is 12, and then I'm going to do 30 minus 12, and I'm going to get, let's see, 30 take away 10 would be 20, take away 2 is 18, and I'm happy because that's one of my choices, makes me feel a little better. So that one is O. All right. And again, looking at this one, I have parentheses. So I'm going to do what's inside the parentheses first. 30 minus 3 is 27. Then I have to do 27 times 4. And gosh, if I take a sneak over here and look, there's only one of these that possibly could be 27 times 4. And it's 108. And that is D. By the way, that's not cheating to look at the answers. That's just being smart. Right? Okay, so the next one would be 2, but I'm actually going to skip over to 5 because they're a little more varied and challenging. All right, but just make sure when you're doing the worksheet, you go down from 1 to 2 to 3, but I'm skipping across, okay? I know I'm skipping across. I'm going to 5. So what do I have right here? I have addition and exponents. Well, addition is right here, and exponents are up there, all right? So I need to do the exponent first. Well, 5 squared is 5 times 5, which is 25. So then I'm going to do 4 plus 25, which is 29. And there it is, R. Excellent, okay? All right, what do I have right here? I have parentheses. So I'm going to do what's inside the parentheses first. 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 squared is 81. 81, there's L. Woohoo! All right, feeling good in the neighborhood. All right, now this one has subtraction, it has division, and it has multiplication. So subtraction is definitely at the end. And then I have division and multiplication. Now, again, this is what I was talking about. Even though the M comes before the D, they're grouped together here. So since from left to right, the division came first, that gets done. So here we go. 16 divided by 4 is 4, right? So now, next, I'm going to do 4 times 2. This is the first time I'm going to need more than one line to do my math. So I divided, right? But now I have to multiply because multiplication comes before subtraction. So now this becomes, I'm going to write it right below it, 32 minus 8, okay? Because 4 times 2 is 8, and 32 minus 8 is 24, which again, that makes me happy because I see that's one of my choices, O. All right, last one I'm going to do with you on this worksheet, although you are certainly welcome to ask for more help. If you need it, just let me know. All right, 32 minus 16 is in parentheses, and 4 times 2 is in parentheses. All right, I didn't say this, by the way. If things are equal, you always do them from left to right, okay? So if you have more than one exponent or more than one in any of these levels, you do it from left to right. So I'm going to do these parentheses first. So 32 minus 16 is 16. Then I'm going to do these parentheses. Again, look, I'm contradicting myself. You don't do parentheses. You do what's inside the parentheses. 4 times 2 is 8. So then finally, since I took care of the parentheses, now I'm down here to division. 16 divided by 8 is 2. And I'm feeling happy because that is right there for choice E. Okay, so as you go through these problems, look for the parentheses first, okay? Do what's inside parentheses. Then look for those exponents. Do those exponents next. Then do any multiplication and division from left to right. And finally, any addition and subtraction from left to right. If you follow those steps in those orders, in that order, you will correctly be using order of operations, and you will do very well on this assignment. Have a great day, everybody.